The question is, does it appear to him in his dream? Or how does it appear to him? And he wrote a letter to S.L. Akintola that there were 86 signatories out of 112 members who had written a letter of no vote confidence on him. It was this letter that was to be debated on the 29th of May, 1962, that caused the problem.
When some people invaded the regional assembly.
The Akintola group knew that if they allow that passage of that letter, if you take 86 from 102, that means Akintola supporters were just about 26. The best thing for them was to prevent the sitting of that house by all means.
And they succeeded.
Because they had federal might.
Tafawa Balewa used the police.
No, before that, they had met in Akinjide's house in Idishi.
Akinjide was in Idishi then?
Yes.
The same location now?
No, he was living in Idishi, not the present The Rock.
All right.
They had a white handkerchief and they went on a group. The action group went on a group, and the Akintola group carried a mock coffin of Femi Awolowo, who was in jail, to the headquarters of the party, singing, Akintola ò ṣe pa, Akintola ò ṣe pa, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ pété pèrò. Adelabu, Adelabu was died in a motor accident in 1958.
Which of the Adelabu?
Adegoke Adelabu.
Okay, Adelabu, yes.
The grandfather of Bayo Adelabu.
Yes.
So, he called the prime minister that if we allow democracy to have its way, and this election holds, there was no way we could match their strength.
So Awolowo was in charge, really. He controlled the mind.
He was more dangerous out of visibility. He was more dangerous in prison than me outside prison. He was controlling the process. So when they got there, Adeleke Adedoyin was the speaker. And you remember Emmanuel Ebubedike that won election with Zik in 1952, who was not pleased that Zik was not made premier, started to ring a bell. Fire on the mountain, fire on the mountain, fire on the mountain. Adeyi, founding principal of Iditi Grammar School, regional minister, through a chair, they are not nearly missed the speaker. S.A. Tinubu from Iresi, EOOK from Akintola's constituency, they started jumping from one seat to the other, shouting, and they're calling chaos. There will be fire, people will be killed, and you saw the gory picture of members trying to scale the walls of the house to escape from the parliament.
And all this led to a state of emergency.
And on that same day, the federal parliament met. Because there was no such law before that date that established by law Emergency Powers Act that gave the parliament power to take over the control of a region for 6 months.
All right. we will take a short break. And in this break, I want us to listen to Sir Alani Ajayi. And we will come back. Alani Ajayi was an Awoist. He was an Awoist in 2016 before his death. At the age of 90, I think, I spoke with him about the North. And we will come back after this chat with him. You said, do you think the North is ready for a restructured Nigeria?
Well, I will prayerfully hope so, because it is the only blessing that Nigeria may have. But I know they will feel a bit tardy in doing so, because they profit a great deal about the present structure of the country, which is against political geometry, absolutely contrary to political geometry, completely. We are different nationalities, different countries. We don't have proper federal system. We should have true federal system. If you have true federal system, there will be peace and progress in this country. We have been sovereign for 56 years, and we are like a small child of 3 or 5 years who cannot walk. If you compare us with Brazil and Malaya and Singapore.
Yes, you just listened to Alani Ajayi. Before he died, he left us with this book. Classic. Oh, you see, this book is a well-researched book. You would love to read this book. The documents, he went into the archives, dug out documents about British conspiracy against the Western and Eastern regions before independence. He gave clinical analysis of some of the subjects that eventually led to the first military coup in January 1966, the counter coup in July 1966, and eventually the Civil War. I recommend this book to you. Get this book, Nigeria, Africa's Failed Asset, by Alani Ajayi. You would find it on udarabooks.com. Classical work of history. A thoughtful, well-researched, and revealing account of the behind-the-scenes moves that led to the creation of Black Africa's most populous nation. In this book, Alani Ajayi looks at the shaky foundation on which the Nigerian state is planted in reckless disregard of the settled principles of federalism, leading inevitably to the quagmire in which Nigeria finds itself. The book also analyzes how Nigeria has fared in view of the enormous resources at her disposal, comparing Nigeria with similar countries. The book comes to an almost irresistible answer that Nigeria is fast racing to the bottom, while others similarly situated are pushing up. Get this book on udarabooks.com. You can also buy this book through the WhatsApp numbers on the screen, the numbers pinned to this post.